Welcome back to the channel, everybody. So guys, today we're going to talk about Lonatharil and why he is the easiest fusion champion we've had for a while. So Lonatharil is a force-based HP champion. Let's go over his kit. I want to talk about his amazing synergies that he has just within his own kit. So his A1 ability decreases the target's max HP by 30% of the damage inflicted. Maybe it hits hard, who knows? He's basically a walking destroy set because he's reducing max HP by the damage he deals. Also places a shield buff equal to 10% of this champion's max HP for 2 turns on the ally with the lowest HP. That's awesome. He's an HP based champion and he's placing a 10% shield every time he attacks. Really, nothing wrong with that whatsoever. Now his A2 and his A3 ability, this is where the synergy really starts to shine. So his A2 ability attacks all enemies, places a shield buff on all allies for 3 turns equal to 20% of this champion's max HP. Scarab King, definitely a pretty viable option here, right? But if there are any dead allies, he places that shield by a 30% version instead of the 20% for 3 turns, and it cannot be removed, stolen, transferred, or spread, which is pretty awesome, right? So basically what's happening here is you're either setting your team up to have one of your allies die, so then he can take care of the rest of your team, or he's basically saying when the fight's midway done and your team's maybe falling apart, that then he's going to start protecting everybody. So that's perfect. The only thing I could think of that would actually be better than this is a champion Brogni. So Brogni actually has a pretty similar ability, except it doesn't have the condition on the second part, which is kind of unfortunate, right? That we have the condition over there. And it also does block debuffs and increase attack. So pretty similar skills in a lot of ways. Just a few minor details with the fact that you need a dead ally and it's only the shield being protected, but that's no big deal. So let's go look at his next ability. So his A3 ability places a 30% increased crit damage buff on all allies for 2 turns. Then teams up with all allies to attack a single enemy. This is pretty cool because if you take a look at this A2 ability, remember you get that bigger shield if you have a dead ally. Well, on his A3, he's using an ally attack. So if I'm understanding this correctly, he's an ally attack champion that gets stronger when your allies are dead. So it's definitely interesting. I like how this is a unique synergy. I've definitely not seen this synergy in any champion before. So something unique. I don't know if people are going to make up some like new interesting teams with this, but hey, it's pretty neat. Now, the crit damage buff is interesting because I think there's an epic champion maybe in the Barbarians faction. Let's see. Let's see if we can find him. Farrakhan. Okay, so his increased crit rate and crit damage on all allies except this champion for 3 turns. Then all allies attack except this champion. Okay, so all allies except for him attack. So 1 less champion. But with Lonatharil, you kind of want 1 ally to be dead. So it's kind of like the same thing, right? This is a 6 turn, books down to a 4 turn. And then we have Farrakhan with a, I believe, also 6 turn that books down to a 4 turn. So pretty competitive with the epic. Granted, Lonatharil only has the increased crit damage. Farrakhan has both, and he also brings some other things, but that's not a huge deal. Let's go ahead and go in here and look at the High Elf faction again. Let's look at his passive ability because this could save the kit for sure. Inflicts 20% more damage against targets under shield buffs. So this is kind of interesting, to be honest. So the 20% more damage, maybe they have some Hydra stuff down the road, but maybe the Hydra casts some shield, maybe you can do more damage to that. Maybe he has like a pretty neat aura. Maybe the aura saves his kit, and maybe you can get like some really good Hydra buffs with his aura. Maybe it's an all battles aura. Let's take it out, check it out. So increases ally HP in Doom Towers by 35%. Interesting. So we're doing more damage against targets under shield. So maybe it could do good against the Hydra someday. Maybe he's an okay Hydra champion, but his aura is only for Doom Tower. So for Doom Tower currently, where would this be super useful? I'm not 100% sure. That's his kit, so you guys can determine if you actually want to go for this champion or not from there. So basically, he's an ally attack champion who gets stronger when an ally is dead and places bigger shields. So really, that one ally you had, you didn't really need him anyways. So go ahead, send him off, get stronger shields, attack with 1 less champion. But hey, at least you have increased crit damage overall. So now let's go over to the fusion breakdown. So this is what I really want to share with you guys, and this is my fusion breakdown. So if you look at this, it's definitely an interesting fusion breakdown to say the least. So we have Lonatharil over here, and basically the idea of this fusion, I want to go over why it's going to be the easiest one to complete, period. So we have all these epic champions down here at the bottom. Now this guy right here, Anchorite, is definitely a solid champion. He's probably worth going for. Maybe Wuji as well, but Anchorite is probably like the standout epic of all these ones. So definitely a champion who you may want to consider going for if you decide not to go for any of these other ones. Carlina got candles on her head. I'm not really sure what exactly is going on there. Kind of interesting, but hey, there we go. Looking pretty good, I guess. So let's go over here back to the fusion schedule. And what I was looking at, I thought this was pretty interesting. So we have the spider tournament right here, and then down here we have an artifact enhancement event. So basically, we can farm the spider quite a bit, get a lot of silver from that. And then for the artifact enhancement event, down here starting on Tuesday, we can actually use the silver earned from Spider to upgrade a lot of those artifacts, okay? So that's great. And then we have another artifact enhancement over here on starting on Saturday, which is also really cool. We get some Anchorite benefits. Anchorite benefits up here. You have to pick up a few more for the Anchorite benefits throughout, but you can definitely get enough to actually earn Anchorite. And then over here, we have a Fire Knight tournament. So the Fire Knight tournament obviously is going to benefit from you upgrading your gear and this artifact enhancement event back here. But the thing that I find most interesting about this is if you connect these lines, it lays out the fusion schedule perfectly. Guys, this is why Lonatharil is going to be the easiest fusion ever to complete. Because when you connect the dots, it lays out a big X, you know? And I think that's the entire plan for Plarium. Because to be honest, when I look at this list, besides the fact that comparing it to champions like, I don't know, Walking Tomb Dring, this looks okay, all right? So this is like when you go into your champions and you, I don't know, let's go to a champion who has a pretty short text. So you go into Dwarves, Mountain King. I like his kit, okay? Attacks one enemy, ignores 50% of the defense, attacks one enemy. I don't necessarily have anything wrong with, reading and having to think through stuff. But then when you click on a champion like, just an example top of my head, I think Necrit has a decent example. So he has like, okay, not really. I mean, it's a decent amount of text, but let's go to like maybe Urast. Urast, I think, has a good wall of text. Okay, so we're starting to read a little bit more there. Not a huge deal. Kind of like a short story here. Not a huge deal. But basically what I'm trying to say is that this fusion breakdown, besides the fact that it's so intense, you have to literally do basically every event. But more importantly, you have to do both of the champion chase events, which is crazy. So you have to max them out as far as I'm aware, which is ridiculous. Because basically, you're going to be spending sacred shards on sacred shards, shards in general on shards. We got a 2x sacred going on right now, which is maybe pretty decent for you depending on where you're at in the game and if you save for guaranteed or not. But for me personally, I've been looking forward to saving for guaranteed events, guaranteed ancients, guaranteed sacreds, or the extra legendary events from either one of those. And that's been doing very well for me so far. I've been getting quite a few legendaries from that. I'm not super interested personally in going into the summon rush and summoning so many champions or so many sacred shards or so many shards in general to get to 2,500. So 2,500, just for an idea, scroll down, 500. So you're summoning quite a few legendaries, quite a few legendary champions, okay? You're probably not gonna get legendary champions only. You're gonna be opening a lot of shards if you wanna get to this. And if you get to this, you're gonna have to basically commit. Now you do have some points over here. So if you get lucky and you win your bracket, maybe you can consider going for it. Now the other thing to keep in mind is that you could open these champions from a shard. So obviously, if you do get a champion from a shard, it's going to be pretty easy to complete the event. Well, at least significantly easier than it was before you got the champion from the shard. But the thing about this event is that a lot of times they used to add champions, like you could earn the entire champion from the event. So like they would have Yelengurna, whatever her name is, the other champion with some candles on her head. I don't really know what's going on with this, to be honest. But I guess it's interesting. We got some burning stuff on top of her head. Nice headwear. But either way, getting a little distracted there. So basically, used to they would have it to where you could earn those champions from the events. Made it a little bit easier, right? You could save up for the champion chase events, whatever it may be. You can know, hey, I'm going to go hard here. I'll earn the entire champion. And then I can skip out on the other events. So say you could have Anchorite earned from this champion chase event. Or you could have Wuji completely earned. Well, now you don't have to worry about getting her fragments from the dungeon divers, so on and so forth. You know, you already earned the entire champion. Or if you don't have enough shards, you could just work on this, get the other fragments from other places, and you'll be good to go. But this event, I feel like, is so punishing that, or not necessarily punishing, so I guess you gotta pay so much attention to it. Honestly, it's gonna take some thought process. You have to figure out what you want to invest in, when you're gonna invest in it. Plus, this is kind of beside the point, but RSL Helper being down, if you're on PC, that's obviously going to be a little more difficult. Now, obviously, Farbstoff is on vacation, definitely a much-deserved vacation, but no RSL Helper means farming is going to be a little more tricky for most things. Granted, we do have auto battles saved up for a long time, most people, but it is what it is. So with the fusion, personally, I'm not going for it, okay? That's why it's going to be the absolute easiest fusion for me. Basically, the way they've structured it, I don't skip very many fusions, not on purpose at least. I've accidentally missed some fusions, not a huge deal, but I don't skip very many intentionally, and this guy will be one that I skip intentionally because his kit, while it doesn't, I'm not necessarily saying that you shouldn't go for him, okay? His kit, to be honest, does have some weird synergies, and I feel like he's not really to the level where other champions with similar demands for their fusions have been. So Brogni, perfect example, because it was basically the exact same thing with Brogni. Brogni was a fragment epic champion fusion. So basically you got all the epic champions, the fragments for them. Very demanding, very punishing if you miss something. And then you got Brogni, okay? He's worth it. He's an amazing champion. Now, they could definitely buff Lonatharil, but you got to determine for yourself whether it's worth your resources to be invested in a champion who may or may not be buffed for the current skill kit that he has. He can do Scarab King, but a lot of champions can do Scarab King, to be honest. His AI is also weird. He won't use his A2 unless you preset it in the AI function, which is perfectly fine. But if they add more Doomtower rotations, which I don't think they're going to, maybe if they add Hydra stuff down the road, but I don't see anything currently in his kit and the testing that I've done on the test server that really stands out to me, where it's like, hey, you should definitely go for this champion. The A1 ability isn't going to hit that hard, so decreasing the target's max HP by 30% isn't going to be super significant. Honestly, the A2 ability is going to be harder hitting, and it's going to decrease more if you actually had a destroy set on. But overall, the champion skill kind of just, this champion's kit in general kind of seems lackluster enough for me to have a pretty easy skip. And then you add the difficulty of the actual fusion plan, and it's like, yeah, I'm gonna have to just go with the plan that I have, which is here and here, here and here. Now I'm gonna do the actual events throughout, pick up some ancient shards, so on and so forth. Try to just do the typical stuff, my typical daily stuff. But there's more stuff I want to save for, so I would rather save for next month's fusion. We have fusion basically every single month so far. I would rather save my shards for actual guaranteed events. Now, if I had tons of resources, maybe I'd consider doing it. Maybe I wouldn't mind, wouldn't be a real issue whatsoever. And if I missed it, maybe I wouldn't care. But I'm not going to go for it. I think I might pick up Anchorite. The other epics don't really seem super special to me. I don't really need them for my account. Wuji, like I said, has some uses on Hydra. Some people have showcased her doing that. Anchorite, I think, is definitely going to be the best champion. I may not have a use for him personally, but I do think he's a solid one. This Orc champion, I tried her out on the test server. Didn't really see a ton with her. And then Carlinia, I just didn't try her because, honestly, the candles on her head kind of discouraged me from using the champion. Kind of gave me some weird vibes. But in all honesty, the champion's kit, when I looked at it, didn't see anything like super special. Nothing really super stood out to me personally. Kind of seemed like a weird kit. Kind of seemed like these champions could have been released maybe a few years ago and may have been better. But now we have so many excellent champions that I just don't see the value in these personally. And the legendary, while he could be buffed, definitely he could be buffed. He could be amazing after a buff, who knows? But it's up to you if you actually want to risk that, if you want to go for it. Make your own decision when it comes to the fusion. And if you decide to not go for it because I'm down talking it basically, and you want to, a few months down the road when it gets buffed, come back to me, go ahead, leave the comment down this video. Go ahead and complain about it. It does help out with the algorithm for sure. But to be honest, I'm going to skip the fusion. So I guess we can all, regret it down the road if they do buff him. But it's completely up to you. The aura does seem interesting. And honestly, his kit just seems like it kind of clashes in some ways, I saw a comment earlier today that said, so basically it's an ally attack champion who does better when he has dead allies. And that doesn't really make any sense, right? Like, it makes no sense whatsoever. It's a very interesting way to do it. I think the champion could be significantly better if they would give him a closer kit to even Brogni. I mean, the protected shields is cool, but actually, when you think about it, okay, it's a casted ability. They do have protected shield now with the bolster set. So it is a casted ability. This ability is on a 5, 4, 3 turn cooldown. So 3 turn cooldown with a 20% shield, maybe not too bad. What's Brogni's at? Let's see. Brogni's shield is a 5, 4, 3 turn cooldown. So what situation would you use that guy over Brogni? I mean, maybe you don't have Brogni. That'd be a pretty good example to not use Brogni, right? If you don't have him, then you can't use him. But I don't see any situation where Lonatharil will be better than Brogni. Brogni has 22,000, almost 23,000 base HP. And then Lonatharil has, let's see, he has 23,000. So a very small difference in base HP. He's an HP-based champion. It's just seeming pretty odd, guys. So me personally, I'm going to skip the event. The original part of the video was complete sarcasm. The kit does not seem to synergize very well. But guys, hey, it's all up to you all. I hope if you go for the fusion, you get some good luck out of him. Hope you can actually test him out and make something useful out of it. But with that said, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. A little bit of added sarcasm to it. Hopefully you didn't take it as being serious because, yeah, I'm skipping the fusion. So thank you all for watching the video. I appreciate it. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.